Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Modern Customer Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Morgan. Today we have a repeat guest. I am so pleased to feature Christian Mitchell. He is now the Chief Digital and Information Officer for Northwestern Mutual. Northwestern Mutual has 8,200 employees. He leads the enterprise client experience strategy and industry-leading digital data and engineering teams that are critical in powering Northwestern Mutual's differentiated experiences. Today, we're going to be talking about Northwestern Mutual's recent AI research on AI and financial planning. And here's a legacy company that's been around 165 years. So how is Northwestern continuing to modernize, to personalize the customer experience, and thinking about digital technology and AI as a way to do that? Please enjoy Christian Mitchell. Christian, welcome back to the Modern Customer Podcast. It's so nice to see you, and we love having repeat guests.
It's great to be back.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. You have a new role that you've just started. Why are you excited about your new role? Let's start there. And what's the difference in what you'll be doing?
Yeah, so I'm going to be the Chief Digital and Information Officer for Northwestern Mutual. So I'm going to be responsible for all aspects of the technology infrastructure of the company, from development to infrastructure, cybersecurity, enterprise architecture, cloud computing, etc. I'm super excited. It's such a wide and huge and absolutely critical set of responsibilities that tends to not only the legacy of Northwestern Mutual, because I'll be running the mainframes, but also points to the future, generative AI, classical AI, moving more applications to the cloud. I'm just so excited for the opportunity.
I think moving from a role where you're already at the company to this other senior role is exciting because you already have so much experience with the company. It's not like you're going in cold. But one of the things I like to ask people like you is first 90 days. So what are going to be the main focuses for you if you feel comfortable sharing in those first 90 days?
Yeah, so I'm in the fortunate position where I am very familiar with all of the bodies of work. I've been responsible for about half of my current responsibilities for 2 years. And so I don't have a very steep learning curve in terms of the actual technical aspects of my new role. What I'm really focused on is the team dynamic. It's a wonderful complement of leaders, but creating the right conversations, creating the right contexts and venues to really bring them closer together and get them closer to the business. So it's those interpersonal relationships, it's understanding the strategic context. That's where I'm going to focus my time in the first 90 days.
Got it. Yeah. So you have the benefit of you've already been there. It's not like this is all new to you. Talk about what's happening with customer experience since we last talked like a year ago. What are some of the new exciting things that you've brought to the table at Northwestern?
Yeah, so as we continue on the customer experience journey, a lot of what we're focused on is taking some of the incredible assets that we've created and just more deeply knitting together all of the client-facing pieces, whether it's the financial plan and the financial planning tool, web and mobile experiences, the various interfaces that our clients have as they're applying for coverage or a new investment account, bringing all of that together, making that data flow seamlessly. And then on the other side of that is making sure that our advisors are appropriately plugged into that workflow in all of the various areas. We really believe financial advice and financial security is best achieved with a human, but it's this interplay of human and digital and client orchestrating all of that the client feels served, the advisors in the driver's seat, and the digital ecosystem facilitates all of that. That's what we're really focused on. It's a tall order because there's so much to choreograph. There's so much data that needs to be plugged together. You have to think about experience in this multifaceted way. But we believe if we can execute across this kind of four-dimensional challenge, we're going to be able to unlock some really incredible outcomes in terms of clients' financial security as well as the productivity of our advisors.
One of the interesting things about financial services and AI that I've heard is that customers are not comfortable engaging with an AI about something so personal, complicated, and nuanced as their money. Would you say that there is a place for AI in financial services? And if so, what is the role?
Yeah. So every year we do a big customer survey, planning and progress study where we examine all kinds of different dimensions of how people are thinking and feeling about their money. This year we launched a special wave specifically on AI. So we have some really interesting data on AI and how people are thinking about AI relative to their personal financial situation. And it's an interesting and nuanced picture that emerges. So first off, younger consumers tend to have more comfort around AI and believe AI is going to improve the customer experience in financial services. That's not surprising necessarily. To the point that you just made, when clients are really engaging in the most crucial conversations about their money, retirement planning, financial planning, they really want to deal with a human. The flip side of that, though, is those same clients are actually very comfortable with the advisor using AI to enable that conversation. So whether that's looking at trends in client data or preventing fraud or a number of other use cases, clients are comfortable with the advisor using that AI. So that, at least in the near term, I think is a really crucial place where AI is going to drive financial security for clients and make advisors more productive.
That's exciting. So, why do you think the younger generations are more comfortable with AI?
I think it's largely due to the fact that they've grown up in a digitally enabled world. In fact, an algorithmic world. Younger generations, they log on to Netflix and they get show recommendations, or TikTok videos are served up to them based on their viewing history. And so I think there's just a level of comfort in navigating AI as part of various experiences amongst younger generations. And I think that's a dimension of where AI is right now that's going to be very interesting to track through time, how attitudes, behaviors, and usage of AI change with those younger clients that already show relatively high levels of comfort.
So, one of the things that you have achieved success with, I would say, is you're taking a brand that's 165 years old and you're modernizing it, you're using AI, you're engaged with your clients, you're interested in personalization. I mean, this is something that many legacy brands are just struggling with. Even though we have a lot of market share, how do we continue to create a culture where employees are hungry, excited, client focused? What are the tenets of your culture to make sure that even though you're a legacy brand, you continue to stay on the forefront of what's happening?
Yeah, it really boils down to one of my core philosophies in terms of how to build teams within Northwestern Mutual. And I think likely the same philosophy could apply elsewhere. What you really strive for is to get the right mix of people on the team, some members that represent perhaps the legacy, that understand the culture, that understand the products, that understand the advisors, where the company has been. But those people that show a willingness to lean into the future, you take that group of people and then you pair them with folks that come from the outside that are bringing the latest thinking in terms of client experience, AI, usage of data. But those bring in those right external people that are actually willing to lean into some of the legacy and lasting aspects of the brand. So you have these two groups and you bring them together and you can get this incredible alchemy where the history and legacy is honored, if not enhanced. At the same time, you can lean into the things that are coming and reimagine salient parts of our value proposition to clients.
I see. So you see the value in having the tenured employees and you mix them in with the newbies. And through that, you kind of come out somewhere in the middle where you've got an open-minded culture.
Yeah, I think you arrive at a place that's actually much better even than the middle. You arrive at these solutions that are really incredible and creative because you're bringing all of these disparate points of view. I think as we go towards the future, there's room for all different people, different tenures, different life experiences. I think that mixture of perspectives really leads to the best solutions.
So something our audience is interested in, and I'm personally interested in, are what's in a word. And your title, I think, is noteworthy because you're not just Chief Information Officer. You're not just the Chief Digital Officer. You're both Chief Digital and Information. What is the difference between the digital piece and the information piece?
Yeah, I think it speaks to two parts of my role. So the information piece, Information Officer is a little bit more of a legacy title. And I think that speaks to some of the core kind of old school aspects of my responsibility. So infrastructure, servers, cybersecurity, those core elements of keeping the trains running on time. The digital aspect of my title really speaks to where we're going. So having a strong digital product mindset, bringing in AI, both classical and ML, classical and generative rather. And, similar to my philosophy in building teams, kind of the legacy with the future, I think that's a similar way in which my role is constructed. And you need both pieces of that in order for us to really make digital experiences sing, to lean into generative AI. We're relying on the incredible decades-old data stores that we have in our legacy infrastructure. And so bringing those together, you can really do something incredible relative to the future.
Yeah, I mean, chief digital officer it means something different to each company. I love just hearing you talk about it. It is exciting when you have a brand, you have executives that are excited about the future. They have the growth mindset. How do you create a growth mindset in the entire culture of the company? It's not easy to do.
It's not easy to do. The way we come at it is actually having recourse to why we exist. It really comes back to the core founding principles of the enterprise. As a mutual company, our clients are actually owners of the company. And so we have this beautiful incentive alignment in that we exist to make them better off financially. And you can take that higher purpose and you can communicate it clearly and relentlessly to people in the company at all levels. It drives that growth mindset because everyone can embrace this idea that we're serving something that's bigger than just profit. Now, we want profit. We want to be a financially vibrant enterprise, but we have this higher and better purpose that ultimately drives incredible societal good. And when an employee, a leader can embrace that, that's where you really get that discretionary effort, that growth mindset that allows you to do incredible things.
Let's talk about how you continue to re-engage and reorient employees toward that client focus. Let's talk about measuring success and metrics. Let's talk about the metrics that you think make sense for client experience. Could you just throw out a few that you think are actually noteworthy?
Measuring client experience, it's one of the trickiest issues. And I think the siren song that our industry has fallen prey to historically is picking one or two metrics and then maximizing those. And I think that's actually a really dangerous thing. I think you have to look at a basket of metrics. So the way I think about it is I put the metrics in two buckets. Bucket one would be the more traditional experiential metrics. So net promoter score, CSAT, you're looking at NPS on both the transactional and relationship basis. That gives you a sense of how clients are feeling, how delightful their interactions are. But if you just focus on those, I think it can actually take you to weird places. So the second bucket of client experience metrics I really like to look at are outcome metrics. Client experience serves some greater purpose. It's not just to have the clients be happy when they log on to the website or open up the mobile app. So the second category of client experience metrics that we look at are the financial health of our clients. Through our client experience, are we actually helping our clients make better decisions? Are they saving more money? Are they better preparing for their retirement? That second bucket, it's their longer time frame, they're harder to measure. But if you can keep the focus on those at the same time that you are improving the experience, you're creating something that's incredibly powerful and lasting.
So if someone came up to you, Christian, and they said, I want to create these outcome metrics, you said it's more difficult. Is this like a handwritten system? Like what would you tell them to do?
It's tricky because financial security and someone feeling really good about their financial situation, which is really the top node metric for us, it's difficult in that it is both a quantitative measure as well as an emotional measure. We can look at a Monte Carlo analysis. Are you going to be able to retire comfortably in various market scenarios? It's a little bit more deep than that, but that gives you a sense of some of the quantitative factors. But just as important is, do you feel happy and secure? Do you enjoy the experience that you have with your advisor? Do you look forward to retirement? Do you feel comfortable that you're going to be able to do and engage in the activities that you want to in retirement? So blending that quantitative and emotional metric in a way that's digestible and you can communicate to teams, that really gets at how difficult it is to arrive at that metric.
That's such a good point. And we live in times that are so, it seems to me, just volatile. Can we step back and just look at the markets? And would you be able to give us some insight into what you're seeing with the markets, with clients? Like, are they just generally happy right now with the economy, or is it a mixed bag?
It's interesting. As we survey our clients, they tend to be a little bit more cautious about the economy. Yet we actually look at the underlying financial performance of the markets and our clients, and it's actually quite positive. So there's a little bit of a dispersion there. That being said, we really strongly believe in engaging our clients in a financial planning conversation. The markets are going to be up, the markets are going to be down, inflation's going to heat up, it's going to cool down. Those are all factors that need to be baked into the portfolio. That said, what really is going to drive long-term financial security is consistent investment, plugging your downside, looking at various scenarios, taking that longer-term view, more of a goals-based approach, and not necessarily getting hung up in the latest headline or the latest bit of macroeconomic data.
It's interesting you talk about the emotional well-being of your clients and how subjective that is, because two people could have the same amount of money in retirement, even want to retire in the same place, and could feel totally different about their financial situation depending on their mindset, their character, their personality. Do you account for that in the way you teach your employees to deal with customers, like nuance?
We do. We train our advisors significantly in that and how to meet their clients where they are. What happens though, our advisors, we're in the very fortunate position is the majority of our advisors join Northwestern Mutual right out of college, and then they spend their entire careers with us. And so through those decades and decades of working with us and working with clients, they accumulate so much wisdom, this incredible bedside manner for clients, such that when those advisors are more advanced in their career and they're advising their clients who are in or near retirement, they have this deep well of wisdom and perspective that they can share with their clients to help them be more comfortable with their situation in retirement. And that's why we believe the advisor is so critical to this entire ecosystem. The digital aspect of what we do is unbelievably important. It's expected, but when the rubber really hits the road, when you face a stressful, intimate conversation or interaction about money, humans want to talk to other humans, and we really firmly believe that, and it's a core part of our strategy.
Yeah, bedside manner, I would say, is a hard thing to measure. Like, how can you measure how good an employee is at making a client feel comfortable or happy or taken care of? Is that a metric that you're looking at?
Yeah, it is. That is a really tricky one. So we try and triangulate on that by looking at a variety of different metrics. You have recourse to some of the metrics I mentioned earlier, CSAT, NPS, et cetera. So you can look at interactions on a micro basis. But ultimately, all of this comes out in the wash over the long term. Clients are only going to stay with advisors or companies or employees that are really amazing and listen and can meet them where they are and help them solve problems. So that really becomes the long-term barometer of how good an advisor is in interacting with a client and leading that client through those really difficult situations and conversations.
So let's switch gears and talk about your new role and from a leadership perspective. One of the things I talk about on the show a lot is customer experience mindset. So how leaders jump up out of bed in the morning, excited to serve the client, excited to serve their teams, how they do this for themselves. Do you have any advice for people listening that might aspire to have a role like yours as CDO and CIO, as far as how you can instill the customer experience mindset in yourself, even when it's not clear at your company, like how you should do that? How do you do it for yourself?
So a core part of my leadership is I want to serve the greater good. So to a certain extent, I've self-selected into a company that serves the greater good, and it serves that greater good through creating incredible client experiences, both digitally and from an advisor perspective. So it's kind of hardwired into who I am and where I've wound up in the world. The way I think about it with my team and my broader organization, and I think the point that I'm going to make is relatively obvious, but I think it's really profound and not many people do it very well, is constant storytelling. Always be putting things in context of the client. If you're talking to someone who's got a very technical role deep in the organization, is to take the time and have the wherewithal to articulate to that individual how their day-to-day actions, though they may seem very, very technical on a local basis, ladder up to something that the client really cares about and drives the enterprise forward. And to be able to supplement that with actual stories where a client has made a better decision or is better off thanks to the accumulated work of many, many technical people in the digital and information organization. That constant connection making, narrative, storytelling, I just think it's one of the key things that distinguishes truly client experience focused organizations from those that just pay lip service to it.
Yeah, that's a great point, Christian. I think one of the things that many companies do is they create customer advisory boards where they bring customers in or they take videos of them to really paint the picture of, hey, this is how your work impacts our clients that you might never see or talk to, but your work does impact them. Do you have a customer advisory board?
We do actually, and interestingly enough, it's one of the oldest institutions of the company. So we have what we call the Policyholders Examining Committee. We've been doing it for over 100 years, where every year we choose a group of prominent clients and they come in. We listen to them in terms of what they're interested in, how they experience us, ways in which we can do better. But interestingly, we actually open the books of Northwestern Mutual to them. We're very open with them, things that we're struggling with strategically, how we're thinking about risk management, how we're thinking about the competition. And we actually draw on their wisdom, the wisdom that they've gleaned in their various roles to help us sort through strategic issues. So it becomes this really incredible and powerful back and forth dialogue that it's a key part of our annual strategic planning process. And I think it's a really powerful institution.
Yeah, and maybe they're actually better customers because they feel ownership, like they're advising you. It probably makes them feel really good.
It does. Invariably, they walk away from those interactions just feeling so much better about the company and actually wanting to buy more, to take more action on their plan based on what they've learned through the interplay.
Do you think that there is an opportunity to include even more of your clients? Because one could argue that, well, if we only ask our best clients, we might be losing the voice of the clients that might not be our, best clients, but they still have some interesting perspectives. Do you have other mini programs to hear from other types of customers?
Yeah, we do a tremendous amount of customer listening to replicate that curated, intimate dialogue with large groups of customers would be difficult. So we constrain the size of the POEC, but we supplement that with focus groups, primary, secondary research, trigger-based tracking and interviews of clients as they engage with us in various places. So we use this very broad-based, both rigorous and anecdotal focus group-based feedback to really get a sense of how our clients are feeling about their interactions with us. And then we use that to take action in terms of changes to our strategic agenda.
Very cool. Well, I feel like our listeners have gotten so many great tips from you today and found like so many interesting things I also didn't think about. So thank you so much for all of that. Let's get to know you a little bit. Are you game for some fun, some rapid fire?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right, Christian, what show are you currently streaming right now?
You know what? I don't really watch a lot of TV. I really don't.
Okay.
So
Next question.
I'm sorry, I couldn't answer that.
You're busy. What's the most important part of your morning routine?
My morning exercise. So I'm an avid runner, just getting out there, pounding out some miles. And it's great thinking time. I kind of reset for the day. A little bit of me time. I love it. I crave it. If I miss a day, I really feel it.
Okay, got it. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
For me, perfect happiness is learning. I am just an innately curious person. I love to learn. I love to read broadly. And so for me, happiness is learning, whether that's a new lick on the guitar or a piece of literature or something technical related to my role. That is what really brings me long-term enjoyment.
All right. What's your favorite type of vacation?
My favorite type of vacation is a vacation that blends some relaxation time. So be able to hang out on the beach, read a book with some adventure, seeing a new part of the world, touring an old cathedral, going to an amazing museum. So I really like that mix of relaxation, but something that's intellectually stimulating as well.
And if you could have lunch with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
If I could have lunch with anyone dead or alive, I think it would be, and there's a little bit of recency bias here, would be John Steinbeck. I've been reading a lot of John Steinbeck. I love his writing, some of the philosophies that are expressed in his books. I'd love to just sit and talk with him for a bit.
And lastly, if you had to describe your outlook in one quick motto, what would it be?
Onward.
Great.
Onward. I tell my team that all the time. Onward.
Love that. That's very inspiring. Well, thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have you back, and we can't wait to hear more about how your new role goes and wish you the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's great to reconnect.
Thank you, Christian, and all of you have been listening to the Modern Customer Podcast. Until next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on social media, including Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and more.